there everyone, it's good to see you, and Kelly reminded me today when we were talking about sending out an update is that it's been 5 months since the last one. Now some of you will still be listening to it because it was that long. Some of you might be after so long wondering who the hell I am and what the willow tree is. And maybe some of you will have been awaiting a bit of an update from us, and we have been quiet. We acknowledge that in the last few months it feels like we've kind of hunkered down and been quite inward facing. What's worrying with this video today is that I have some notes, which potentially, I don't know if that means it will be shorter video or longer, but there's quite a lot to tell you. And I think, even the dog's got quite a lot to tell you. He always has a lot to say, but I'm going to carry on going because that will be an Amazon delivery and he will want to eat the delivery man. So where to begin? We wanted confirmation that some of the plans that we had in place were going to happen. And that took a bit of patience and holding our nerve, and it also meant we haven't updated you for quite a while. So as the summer went on last year, it was obviously a big adjustment for Mia to be heading off to university. So she's now in Bath, and I mean, 18 years of having someone in your home, and the familiarity of that is quite a wrench to let go of. Those of you who are parents will know what that's like, whether that's the child going on that threshold to nursery or to their first school or into adolescent years, or indeed leaving for university. So it felt quite a big deal for me. The house felt quieter, there felt an emptiness. And at the same time seeing Mia mature and grow and make friends, and she has a really beautiful space that she's in. Bath Spa University is quite incredible in its location, and I think she's really blessed to be there rather than in a big city somewhere with 30,000 people at the university. So I think she's in the right place. I hope she is, and she seems to be doing well, and she's got some lovely friends, and that settles and soothes my heart a bit, I think. But I don't know how much of an irritating father I am, texting her to see how she is. Actually, not on a daily basis. I kind of let her get on, and I hope that's the right thing. If Mia happens to watch this, which I know she won't, but if she were to, I hope she might tell me whether it's a bit too much or maybe even not enough. And then I guess our big news came about last summer. Kelly and I had always planned a move from where we are now in southwest London, Surrey borders, to somewhere that has a bit more space and a bit more land, and to have some animals. And Kelly's in her absolute happy place of bliss when she has animals around her. So we knew that was always going to happen, and I don't know where it sat in the plan of timelines. We don't quite work like that, but it was somewhere a little bit further ahead. I wanted to get Mia settled in uni, and it was somewhere down the line. However, we did start looking for places, and in early July last year, we found what is our dream home. It's about 30 minutes north of Bath. It's in the very South Cotswolds. It's a beautiful cottage that has 5 acres, and we were quite brazen in going to view it because the agent wasn't open on a Sunday, and Kelly was like, fuck it, we'll just knock on the door. And we knocked on the door, and the rest is kind of history, really. We did fall in love with it, and our hearts were immediately pulled to making this move. Of course, at the same time we needed to sell our house. We put it on the market. We were trying to sell a family home in the summer. Mortgage rates were going up. It was a bad time. And for a house that is actually really, really saleable, it was a fucking nightmare. And we got completely fixated on selling our house and making this move to our dream home. In September time, we were still struggling to sell it. Anyway, we held our nerve and we found the most wonderful people to buy our home and to come and be the stewards and the custodians of this house that has been our home for 7 years almost. And then it all toppled over. The sale toppled over. Their buyer pulled out 2 days before exchange. Anyway, we persevered. All of us wanted it enough. The 3 people now in the chain. And we are excited to tell you that we exchanged about 10 days ago. And at the end of February, we will be moving to our little village. There's only 100 people in this village. And we are deeply excited. There's a big pull to that area. There's something about travelling to Bath, Bristol, Glastonbury, Cotswolds, Somerset area that just feels right. We both kind of get there and go, this is right. And so that's one thing. Being closer to Mia feels right. That isn't why we're making the move, but it feels like a good thing. I'm quite excited about maybe Sundays where I can text her and go, do you fancy a roast? And she'll come over with her friends and we'll have a roast. And that feels like, I look forward to that. But I hope that we will be close enough to be useful and far enough away to not be on her patch. We also, there is a brand new Dyson cancer centre, which is going to be one of Europe's leading cancer centres, opening at the hospital in Bath in the spring. So all my care will move to there, which feels massively reassuring. It's going to be an extraordinary hub for cancer treatment. We've also found the National Council for Integrative Medicine is based in Bristol, and as a part of some new treatment that I'm just starting, which I'll tell you about in a moment, we found them, and so that's close by. We've got some friends in the area. We're still close enough to be able to get back to my mum and Kelly's mum and dad, and so it all feels like we can get to the places that we need to get to. We're really on a train. We're a fast train into London for an hour into Paddington, so we're very excited about what we're going to have there. Alpacas, some sheep, some chickens, some ducks, some bees, and we're going to live on the land, and we're going to live off the land, and we're going to serve and feed the land. And we came across this whole idea of anthroposophical medicine, anthroposophical ways of living, which is based very much on Rudolf Steiner's ideas around healthcare and how we live. And anthroposophy is the art and science of becoming more fully human. And that feels like that feeds into the way we want to live, and that then feeds into how we're going to take up residence on this plot. We're going to be able to build the healing sanctuary for the willow tree. We're going to have a B&B. We're going to offer some space for respite for families who are sorry, my screen's just gone, who are living with cancer. And I hope as much as we will be able to live off of the land, we will give back to the land, and we will feed and nurture the land. And we have lots of ideas. We have lots and lots of ideas and lots of amazing things that we want to bring to life there. And that will take time because we need to go at a pace. When we leave, our Willow Tree Choir will continue to be led by the wonderful Val. So that goes on, which is amazing. Maybe there'll be a new choir in Bath or Bristol, I don't know. So as I said, part of the move is for my healthcare. We made some quite big decisions around my healthcare in the last couple of months. I think I've lived with what feels like some kind of underlying infection, which has either spiked quite significantly or stayed underlying for over 12 months now. And that's really hard going. I've had so many courses of antibiotics, it's unreal. And from the beginning of December, when I had my last treatment, I picked up an infection a few days later. I've been on 4 lots of antibiotics since then. I had COVID twice in December, back to back. I had 5 days of testing negative in the middle and then got it again. So because of my cancer treatment, I have to have antivirals. So my body feels really busted. My immunity is busted. My immunoglobulin levels, which plays into my immunity, are trending downwards, unfortunately. So we made the decision to stop my rituximab treatment, which is my 2 years ongoing treatment, which really is there to lock in all the benefits of the chemotherapy that I started out with. But it just feels whilst I'm sure inside it's helping me in some way, every day feels like a bit of a bind, I have to say. So we made a decision to stop that, which I guess comes with some risks, I suppose, or it maybe increases the chances of relapse. We're doing a lot else to support my body. One of the treatments through the National Council for Integrative Medicine is mistletoe therapy. It used to be offered on the NHS. It's been around for 100 years or so. There's a lot of research into it. But the NHS don't offer it anymore. So we've started that. That's an injection that I do at home into my tummy. And we are also beginning IVIG treatments, which we are ending up doing privately because on the NHS it's really hard to get it. So fortunately that I still have some private healthcare, and we're going to get which is basically a replacement intravenous immunoglobulin, which I had the first one a couple of weeks ago. I had the most terrible reaction, which was quite a distressing 20 minutes. Which was a very distressing 20 minutes. Kelly had been with me all morning and was confident that I was okay, and then left to go and pick some drugs up for me at St George's Hospital, and then I had this reaction. So I'm sure the next time I won't have the same reaction. It will be fine, but that will be ongoing for a while, every 28 days. So, I just hope we're doing a lot to support me staying in remission. And sometimes I forget that I am still in remission, which is amazing. And I am still in remission. And I guess sometimes when our systems get so overwhelmed by the shit and the difficulty of life, that we fail to see those small shards of light. So my treatment will all move to Bath, which is going to be great for us. I feel a bit better in the last couple of weeks than I have felt for a long time from an infection perspective. Moving has had an enormous impact on Kelly and I, stressful. We were pretty much boxed up before the house purchase fell over. So we spent Christmas pretty much boxed up, which was odd. So I guess that's our big news about life. It's enormous news because it's a big life change, and we felt like we had to seize that moment of opportunity, and having a life-altering illness brings the sharpness of life into a very clear focus, which sometimes we don't have. I think we wander around not noticing, but this brings it into a very sharp focus. So we had to grab the chance, and we've grabbed it, and in 4 weeks we move. I'm not going to show you, turn the camera around to show you the boxes and the crap that's on the floor. It looks like we've been burgled, but we haven't. So that's, I guess, is our big news. Kingston Charitable Foundation, we're launching another set of grants. They go live on the 1st of February. I think the last video I was just talking about applications opening for the grants. The foundation gave away £12,500 in grants at the back end of 23, which is amazing. I think in total we have raised just over £200,000, which in just under 2 years is not too bad going, really. So I'm very grateful. Some of you watching this, probably a lot of you watching this, will have made some kind of financial donation to the Willow Tree, and for that I thank you. And from the families, when I get to read the families that have applied for grants, I can't not be moved to tears by them. Because again, it brings into very sharp focus the fragility of life for us as grown-ups, and especially for parents, even more so for parents who are attempting to look after very poorly young children. It's quite incomprehensible, really. So being able to give them something financial just to, I hope, ease a bit of the burden and just help them kind of loosen a little bit around the edges so they can focus on the things they need to be focused on. So the new set of grants launch on the 1st of February. And I guess the other bit of news is the book. I talked a bit about the new book last year, and I'm looking for agents and publishers, and I didn't get anywhere. And I got some responses from agents that basically weren't that interested, and I only put it out to a couple of publishers, but I didn't really get anything back. So I made a bit of a decision, really, to kind of tuck it away, with the view that nobody really needs more books. We don't need to cut down more trees. Anyway, I ended up getting a publishing deal with Karnak, who are my dream publisher, really, because they're really small, they're boutiquey, they care, they are holding my book with great love and compassion and tenderness, and I feel very honoured to be publishing with Karnak. And As a Kite Falls, which is the name of the book, will publish in June this year, June 2024. The final manuscript was submitted last week. I'm just looking for people now to endorse it. Some of you will have seen some of the mails I've sent out looking for people to endorse it. I have a long list of people, so if you know of people, and especially maybe some high profile names as well, of people who have lived through dissent and difficulty and tough times in their life and may be open to talking about that, please get in touch with me. Endorsements do matter. Part of me goes, they're a bit fluffy and bullshitty, but actually they really matter, and they do really help support the book. So I'm very excited for it to come to life, and it feels like a legacy piece. I've really enjoyed writing it. It's a blend of narrative, and it's this use of 50 haiku that really are about distilling my experience of the last 2 years. The book is about the flight and the fall of life that we all live through in greater or lesser ways. And haikus are 17-syllable poems. They've been around for a long time, 17th century Japan. And for me, when I stumbled across them when I had my transplant, they're a very beautiful way of crystallizing and capturing the kernel of truth and the kernel of the story. I thought I might read you one. If you're still watching, 20 minutes, fuck man. If you're still watching, I thought I might read you a haiku, and one of the ones that's in the book. So the haikus are really short, and then each haiku comes with some narrative, some context setting. So I thought I would read you one haiku and the little bit of context that goes with it. So so bear with me. I hope that I will get to read some at the book launch in June. And here is one. Hope is everything. Hold yours with such tenderness. It will hold you too. What is radical hope? I see radical hope as being the grace that comes once we hit rock bottom. Radical hope demands courage. I remember writing this haiku. I sat on my bed asking myself if this hospital stay would ever end. I just lived through the worst night on record and wondered if I had actually left all hope behind me and entered a place of pure despair. Hope, literally, dangled on a thread. The last drop of hope that was left in me needed to be handled with enormous love and tenderness. Deep down I knew this, yet gifting tenderness onto my own body was unfamiliar. Who had ever shown me this? If I'd not felt it, how could I possibly offer it to myself? I see hope as being an embrace of the unknown and the unknowable. It's a sure alternative to the certainty of both optimism and pessimism. It locates itself within the premise that we simply don't know what will happen. And within that space is the room to take action. Whilst my cancer required a gargantuan effort, we did our best to become consistent action takers. Something told me that if I were to slow right down, hope would hold me and I wouldn't have to grapple with despair. Well, I'm still here, holding space for the hope to exist. Not just the radical hope that I hold for myself, but the radical hope that I hold for our planet and for every one of its inhabitants. I look around our world and I look around the destruction and the devastation and the war and the heartache. And there's a lot of shadow at play. And I think we need enormous quantities of hope to be able to bear it, to bear with it, to go through it, rather than to try and swerve it. I talk a lot about hope in the book because it's been a bit of a central theme in my life and a central theme in the last 2 years. So thanks for entertaining me with letting me share a little bit of the book. I'm going to sign off because it is by far the longest video I've ever done. So if you are watching to this point, well bloody done. I send you a lot of love. We will give you another update once we have moved from the farm. There might not be any animals at that point because we're just going to get ourselves a little bit settled, but we are going to start with some chickens. So as soon as we are settled there, we will give you an update on health, life, home, willow tree. But for now, hold hope for your own life and for this world around us that needs so much right now. Much love from me, from Kelly, from Royston, from Mia, and I'll speak to you very soon. Look after yourselves. Take care. Bye.